Greetings, everybody. Welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to Let's Talk About It with your host, Chief Apostle Veronica Israel, founder of Freedom Temple of Truth. And I am so happy to have you back on this episode of this podcast, Let's Talk About It, where we speak and stand on truth, love, and freedom, talking about things that needs to be talked about in our communities and in our spirituality, helping us uplift our consciousness into a Christ consciousness, knowing that God is within us and that divinity is within, and to help each and every person that needs encouragement, needs to be inspired, to uplift them and to know that you can make it and there is a better side of life that you can achieve. And so today our topic, first before we get in that, we ask that you would like, comment, share, send this podcast to anyone that you know can use an uplifting and that would be blessed and encouraged by the topic. Do that for us, and always follow us for more content and leave a positive comment below. Today, the topic we're going to get into is how to improve your self-image. That's right, how to improve your self-image. If you've ever struggled with your self-image or self-acceptance, loving yourself, if you ever had self-esteem issue, you want to listen to this podcast. If you're not able to listen to it all the way through, save it and come back to it in little increments and bits and pieces so you can digest it. And just don't listen one time. Continue to listen over and over and over again until you get it into your innermost being, till it permeates your entire soul and you catch a hold of it and you're able to grasp it and implement it into your life. Repetition, that's one of the things about learning and studying, is repetition over and over and over again helps to get into the recesses of your mind deep down and plant it. And so that's what we encourage you to do. All right, so again, our topic today for this podcast is how to improve your self-image. How to improve your self-image. In this episode, we will be dealing with the how-tos of moving from self-hatred to self-acceptance. It all wraps into how to love yourself. When you get to the bottom line, how to love yourself. You may want to take notes so that you can be able to study the words that will be given, keynote words that are given to you that you can research and study and be able to apply it to your life. So the first key word to remember is self-hate. Self-hate. The definition of self-hate is hatred directed towards oneself rather than to others. Self-hate is something that's inward, something that you battle with when you hate yourself, your circumstances, your life, instead of hating externally other people. The second key word to remember for this episode is self-loathing. Self-loathing is constantly feeling hate for yourself, which can lead to severe conditions like depression, substance abuse. It is a extreme criticism of oneself. Self-loathing, it may be nothing more than just feeling that you're inadequate, feeling that you're not enough, or that you're unworthy or deserving of the good things in life. This is an example of self-loathing. Self-hate can cause you to feel like you have an invisible person following you around at all times, criticizing you and your abilities, belittling you, and pointing out at every moment your flaws and shaming you for every mistake. That is an example of how self-hate operates in many individuals. Oftentimes, typical self-hatred thoughts, examples are, I knew I would fail. Why did I or do I try? No one gets me anyway. No one loves me. No one wants to be bothered with me. I'm just a screw-up. Why can't I just be normal? I hate myself and my life. Now you may be saying, wow, that's a lot. But many times people that struggle with self-esteem, self-hate, self-loathing, a negative self-image, these are things that play in their mind over and over and over again. Now I want you to think about this. Did anything I just mentioned sound familiar? Does it sound like you or your daily life experiences? Think about it. Has those thoughts or those words, examples that I gave, sound like you? If it is, I want you to stick around because we're going to help you work through there and learning how to improve and build your self-image into a positive self-image, turning the negative into a positive. The first step in making a change and moving from self-hatred to self-acceptance is the acknowledgement that you struggle with self-hate, or the simply I hate myself syndrome. You have to be able to acknowledge that this issue exists within yourself. And once you recognize, identifying the issue, giving acknowledgement to its existence in your life, you've only won half the battle. The next thing one has to do is to come to terms with this idea that I and God are one. This truth is something that you have to understand and accept, realize, and begin to practice. That I and God, divinity, is one. We are one. We have to get, as a people, we have to get rid of, we've been so commercialized and so filled with dogma and doctrines and belief systems and religiosity that we many times, oftentimes, have put off spirituality and opted more for rituals and religious ideas that are unfounded. But I want to encourage you, we have to get rid of the false self-identity that we are apart from God, or God and us are separate entities. You are who you are supposed to be. I want you to understand that. I want you to know that you are who you are supposed to be. No one else, just you. And who you are is not what others have said you to be. But you are who you are supposed to be and who you have determined yourself to be. Self-determination, self-preservation. You must deconstruct the unrealistic self-expectations that you've placed on yourself or others have placed on you. Sometimes other people's expectation, we're trying to live up to it, and a lot of times it's unattainable for us, maybe for other people, but for us. And you have to know yourself. You have to sit with yourself, know what you can take, know what you can't take, know what you can accomplish and within whatever time frame, what you can't, what's in your willpower, what's in your genetic makeup, what's in your spirit that you can accomplish, and what goals you can do and some things that you can't, your abilities, your strengths, your weaknesses. You have to observe that and set realistic goals, set realistic expectations for yourself, and cast off the expectations of other people where you are not, when you know it's not realistic. And stop trying to live. A lot of times self-hate comes in because people have put expectations upon us that we know that we're not able to fulfill, and then we beat ourselves up because of it. And so this is something that we have to work on, to deconstruct and unwind, to unravel that perspective in our mind. See, sometimes we've done something so long that we are hardwired towards it. And so it takes work to deconstruct it, unwire that, and rewire ourselves so that we can have a positive self-image, because we've built up a negative self-image. And so we have to tear that down, and it takes time, and it takes working at it day by day. Remember, you are only in a race with yourself, no one else. You don't compete when you don't compare. You don't have anybody. You're your own unique person. So you're only in a race with yourself. And that race is to be better tomorrow than you were today. That is the race that you're in. So know that. Own that. You don't have to be like anybody else. You don't have to color within the lines. You can color outside the lines. You can be who you are, your true, authentic self. Because that's all that's left to be. Everybody else is taken. Everybody has their own unique genetic makeup. Everybody has their own unique personality. It's okay to admire somebody, to try to pattern yourself after the likes or the achievement of somebody, but not try to be a copy of someone else. This is something that we all have to keep in mind so that we don't get tricked into this unrealistic expectations for our own selves. Now, the next thing that I want you to remember is that you were thought of and amazingly designed by the infinite source before you were ever born. In Psalms, for those of you who have read the book of Psalms 139, verse 18, which is a beautiful verses that you can take a look at your leisure. But I'm going to read that verse for you so that you can get a picture that the divine source, and I'm going to use it as a foundational point of reference, that you can see that the creator of the universe had you in mind before your parents got together to even procreate. The creator of the universe, the divine spirit, the God of your understanding, already had you in mind. Somebody may say, well, my parents didn't plan me. It was a mistake. Or they said they didn't want me. Or I wasn't, I was a mistake. I wasn't planned. Or they wanted to abort me. All that may be in their mind and what they thought. But there is a higher power. And that higher power had already ordained and preordained for you to come to earth and to blossom, and to do great things. And so I want to read that for you. Psalms 139, verse 13 through 18. It says, "For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you. When I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Now this is talking about in the womb, in your mother's womb, in the secret place, in that sack in your mother's womb. When you were being formed and created and growing in that belly, your future was already forecasted. It said, when I was in the woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God, how vast is the sum of them. While to count them, they would outnumber the grains of the sand. When I awake, I am still with you, showing that God and the writer are one, and we all and God are one. The divine spirit lives within us. And so you were created wonderfully as you are. And your duty is to perfect. You take what has been given to you and perfect that in all that you do. The Most High knew everything there was, is, or ever will be to know about you and loves you. Every bit of you. You don't have to hide from the infinite source. You don't have to hide from your creator, because your creator is your creator, created you in their image, in their likeness. They know the real you. I mean the real you. Not the one we put on as a facade and when we want to keep people at bay and we don't want people to really know our intimate selves. Do you know that part of us we hide from the public eye? Yeah, that part. The almighty creator of the universe, the great spirit of the earth, the divine energy loves that part of us, all of us in totality, to the core. And that's something to know, because many of us has been told that, you may have been told you were abomination or been raised in a quote-unquote sin culture. You may have been taught that, God only loves you if you follow certain rules and regulations and this, that, and the third. But it's freeing to know and to realize and to be able to comprehend that you are loved by your higher power completely in your authenticity. In your authenticity, your creator loves you. Now, I often am quoted for this, saying that I am loved by the divine, not in spite of, but because of. Some people say, well, I love you even in spite of X, Y, Z. Or I love you even though I don't like X, Y, Z. But the creator of the universe, the God in you, loves you because of everything people view as imperfect in you. Everything where people view as a flaw, the universe looks at it as a strength and loves you. That's powerful. It's freeing. And my prayer and hope for everyone that watches this podcast to experience and know that truth. Ask yourself this question. If the divine thinks so highly of me, why do I think so low of myself? That's something to think about. If the creator of the universe that created everything, the force that made everything come into being, loves you entirely and thinks so highly of you. As one verse of scripture said, wise man that you think so highly of them. Who is man that you love humankind so much? And so this is the question: if the universe thinks so highly of you, why do you think so low of yourself? I want you to say this affirmation with me. Say this with me. I must, come on, say it with me. I must recreate my self-image to the image I want. Come on, let's say it again. I must recreate my self-image to the image or the self-image that I want. I want to encourage you today to stop allowing religious fanatics to cause you to feel worthless, inadequate, to feel that you are a dirty sinner, and that the creator of the universe, the Almighty, is angry with you and ready to burn you to the stake. I want you to get free from that. Stop believing the erroneous idea that you are not worth God's goodness and the best that life has to offer. I want you to know that you are worthy of every good and perfect gift. You just has to realize it. You just have to realize and see it for yourself. And that's what we're praying and hoping to achieve with this episode of how to improve your self-image, that you will be able to get a glimpse in to your own divinity, to your own godhood, and to know of your self-worth. This is our purpose and our aim, to help you rebuild your self-image into an image you can be proud of, that you can love holistically, that you can stand proud behind, and do not cower in fear and fall off into the shadows, into the dark. I want you to know this. The infinite source doesn't call us out of our name. You know, people may call you what they want to call you. They may not address you as you desire to be called. But the creator of the universe does not call you out of your name. So we must learn not to call ourselves out of our names. Don't call yourself anything that is not consistent with your higher vibration. The infinite source calls you by your name. The eternal calls you by your name, and your name is wonderful. A name is about who you are, your legacy, your characteristic. I'm going to read a verse of the Hebrew Bible that I thought was befitting, that could help express this point. Isaiah chapter 43, verses 1 through 4. This is what it reads. It says, "But now thus saith the Creator, who created you, he who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine." So I wanted to point that I just read. I'm going to stop right there. I have called you by your name. You are mine. So as the creation of the divine source calls us by our name, owns us as his children or her children, their children. So never give your attention to anything or anyone who calls you other than your name. Remember that God sings and rejoices over you. When people deem you as unlovable, hard to work with, undesirable, or reject, remember that your Creator sings and rejoices over you. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 17 says that He will rejoice over you with joy. You will rest in His love. He will joy over thee with singing. The divine is happy and delighted when we are living and functioning at our highest good and our highest frequency, at our highest potential. Never forget that your heavenly Mother, Father, Creator never abandons you, no matter what, because God is within. Not just a man in the sky somewhere else, somebody somewhere, but the Creator, that God energy, Christ consciousness dwells within you, as you, is you. Nothing you can do or say or think could cause the divine to abandon you, because God and you are what? One. You're one. Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter, verse 8. For those who are Bible readers, give me a verse. Because, sometimes they say I don't give scripture verse. But for those who would like to take note, Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 8 said, and the Lord, or the law of mine, doth go before you. Spirit will be with you. The divine will not fail you. Neither will you be forsaken. Do not fear or be shocked for any reason. So this let us know that we are not forsaken. Don't need to be shocked. Isn't that so refreshing that nothing you can do can make God abandon you? Isn't that refreshing and reassuring? Accept the fact that I am who I am, and I am a son of God. I am a daughter of God. No matter the gender, we are all sons of God. We are children of the divine. Accept this truth of who you are in God and who God is in you. Let all self-hate and self-loathing go. Release the false narrative that you aren't good enough. Affirm that you are more than good enough. You are perfect in the eyes of your Creator, just as you are. And this will help you move forward and help you reconstruct and improve and build a positive self-image. And so it is, and so shall it be. And it cannot be otherwise. I'm Henry Anshe. If this has helped you, we want you to follow for more content. Follow for more content. That is, like and share. Send this to a friend, a neighbor, a co-worker, your bestie, to a loved one, your spouse, that you know could use a boost of encouragement to help them rewire and lift up their consciousness and their self-image. And until the next episode of Let's Talk About It, this has been your host, Veronica Israel. And I love each and every one of you, and I'm rooting for you. Leave a positive comment below and let us know how you're being blessed and helped in this great podcast of Let's Talk About It. Until the next time, peace be with you.